wanted the voice that got faint to be a reason why I stopped production. I always consistently want to give you the best of football tactical analysis here on this. On Fiifi-Manfred, this is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm grateful consistently for the support I've received from folks all across the continent and in the world. Yesterday, I received messages from guys in Kenya, in Nigeria. I'm very grateful, especially for my Nigerian brothers from Kenya as well. Via popular request today, we are doing a lot of analysis today, especially because you see, Chelsea are good. Chelsea are good now, but there are real problems also. There are real problems. These are the parts where Chelsea have to tackle after the international break. These are real problems that Chelsea really have to tackle after the international break. And they are things that are not too easy to tackle, but also easy to tackle because you look at where Chelsea are in terms of growth, the kind of players that they have. Chelsea's average age is the second youngest team in the English Premier League. They are going toe-to-toe with almost everybody. They are even outplaying some of the top guys who have had their project together for a while now. I've considered on this channel that for me, Mauricio Pochettino has shocked me. Before he came to Chelsea, I thought that he was just going to be the guy to stable the ship, not essentially take Chelsea exactly where they want to get to. But now he seems to be doing some brilliant job in terms of where everything seems to be going. Everything seems to be streamlined. Everything seems to be in the right direction. And it tells you how much work has gone into where the team is now. But there are still real problems, real problems that we need to discuss. And even apart from that, via popular request, there is the World Cup 2026 qualifier, the African edition, and I need to discuss that, especially for my Nigerian brothers and for the Ghanaians over here. So yesterday, Nigeria drew 1-1 against Zambia. They are drawn also against Lesotho. Not two good results. Ghana, for one, stayed at home. I was in commentary position. That's why I lost my voice. It went very far into the game before Iñaki Williams' first goal for the Black Stars that give the Ghanaians the 3 points. What are the real disparity between the two sides, especially for Ghana in their pre-match game against Comoro Island tomorrow? How are Ghana going to play? What do you expect from them? This is Fiifi-Manfred, guys. If you've not subscribed to the channel, this is your one-stop shop for everything football tactical analysis, and you don't want to go away. Stick and so let's get straight into it. I mean, I think that since the season started, the season for some parts were not so smooth. There are parts where Chelsea struggled a little bit, parts where Chelsea got a job done. But I think that the most crucial part of the season has been consistency in the results that Chelsea are churning. In the last 5 games, Chelsea have churned some very good results. And for a second, you are beginning to believe that, okay, it looks as if these people are on the right trajectory and they are going to do the right things. They are going to get the right results going forward, because it looks as if, for one, you can put your hand on your chest and say Mauricio Pochettino has figured it out. But has he really figured it out? What are the issues in there? What are the problems in there? The problems that are yet to be solved. Because the question is, has Mauricio Pochettino figured it out? What are the real issues at Chelsea that he needs to solve now? Now, let us start from when Chelsea played in preseason. In preseason, that is where Pochettino bettered the 3-2-5 shape, attacking shape in there for his team, where he had 2 DMs to circulate play. The 3 centre backs, most of the time, Levico, Thiago Silva, Axel Disasi. Disasi wasn't in preseason at the time, but then of course, he has been part of this shape for a while now. And then he had 5 attackers occupying all of these zones. At the beginning, he didn't have a tempo controller. The only one that was controlling the team's tempo was Kani Chukwuemeka, who has gotten injured. Now he's returning. Romeo Lavia and Kuku, all of these guys, Armando Broja, are returning from injury. And it looks as if for the very first time, Chelsea are going to get a full score. Now, because of injuries, Mauricio Pochettino had to change his shape into a 3-1-6 at certain point, especially when he was playing against low blocks, to chase the games. This didn't prove futile. It proved futile. It didn't prove prudent. He didn't get the results that he needed in such games. And consistently, he was found wanting in terms of chasing games and trying to get something now. But there was a lack of balance, especially in attack, until Cole Palmer got into the team. Now, the last time on this channel, we spoke extensively about XG. The last time somebody asked me, what is XG? And then we should use simple English because we are in Ghana. Great. XG essentially is the quality of chances that any team churns out. The quality of chance that any team churns out. So Chelsea have one of the best XGs in the English Premier League because they create good chances. They play good football. They're able to open up teams. The bigger issue has been against a low block side, and we'll come there. The XG is against, which essentially is also supposed to measure Chelsea's defensive output. How much of quality chances are opposing teams able to create against Chelsea? Are they able to create quality chances against them? Is it a big deal? Is it difficult for them to do? Are Chelsea able to withstand their own in terms of weathering these quality chances that are being chased against them? Chelsea also doing good in that metric. So across the field of play, how Chelsea plays, progression, build up, every principle, every aspect of the game, every department seems to be improving massively in that regard, which is brilliant stuff, right? But now you go into the Chelsea archive and you look at the numbers. I've told you about XG, I've told you about XG against. You look at the numbers of Cole Palmer and then Enzo Fernandez in terms of ball progression. Both of them are in the top 7, not just in the English Premier League, across Europe. Top 7 quality progressors. Top 7 quality progressors across Europe. From the first phase, second phase, what they give you on the ball, what they're able to do, especially for Cole Palmer. That player is in a form of his life. And I say that Cole Palmer is even yet to get to that ceiling. I think that he even has a better ceiling than Martin Odegaard. He is brilliant in dictating the pace of the game. What consistently I call pulsar, but the pulsar is the intelligence to control the game's tempo. With a fake pass, with a shoulder drop, with a dribble, with a cutting, all of these things are very, very important. And that's what we call the pulsar. So when I look at Cole Palmer, I look at the numbers from Enzo Fernandez, I look at the numbers from Cole Palmer, and then I see this midfield is largely balanced. Because Mauricio Pochettino, do not mind you, doesn't want his tempo controllers outright. He always wants them centrally. You go and talk about Dele Alli and the role Dele played under him in terms of controlling the tempo of his games when he was at Tottenham Hotspur. You talk about players like Dele Alli, Son Heung-min, how he controlled the tempo consistently. The stop stats, it was very important. Every time that you see Mauricio Pochettino's teams, he wants the tempo controllers inside. And that is it. I think that even when you go to Paris Saint-Germain, that was one of his failings where he allowed Messi, Neymar, Mbappe combination, lump sum them together and didn't really get the control and then the balance that he needed in his teams, or he used to have in his teams. And every time he seems to be chasing games, he wants to be playing too fluid. In football, you can't be too fluid. Sometimes you need to be much more balanced. Now you talk about Palmer and Enzo. Then you talk about the most important player, in my opinion, off the ball for Chelsea. Guys, consistently when we discuss football, it should be in perspective of where are you talking of? Are you talking of the player's performance on the ball or the player's performance off the ball? Now you talk about a player like Conor Gallagher. He has the highest Chelsea assists. He's somebody I don't give credit for on the ball. But he has the highest Chelsea assists thus far this season. I think it's about 4. But essentially, the job he does is the brilliance of the press, the aggression, the physicality, the combativeness, the fact that he chases the ball every now and then. I've said consistently, I have never seen Rodri rattled like that in his life, like what Conor Gallagher did to him. And if you look at Connor's trajectory as a player from West Bromwich Albion, from Crystal Palace, these are places where he has consistently been used as an off-the-ball crusher. He is without the ball. He chases down almost everybody, wins the ball back, carries the ball forward, recycles the ball. That's essentially the kind of player that Conor Gallagher is and has been. So, yeah, he gives you all of those things in there. Now, that is a hugely balanced midfield. You have one midfielder that is impressive in leading the press. And you have two who are the perfect depiction of control in midfield and even from centrally in attack. But there are still real problems. Even you look at the fact that Chelsea has a very young team. You look at the fact that Enzo's numbers are brilliant. You look at Conor Gallagher's numbers, they're brilliant. You look at the distance that he has covered about 12 kilometers and more in about 4 games this season that he has started. This is the first time that you look in about 5 seasons where Chelsea has played a season up to this point, and then its striker is leading its goal king chart. Now, Nicholas Jackson has about 7 goals. And there's a striker that everybody knows that he's, for the long term, he's not going to be Chelsea's number 1 striker. maybe Amando Broja will usurp him. Maybe a new striker outside will come through. But he's essentially going to be a backup for the job that Chelsea does in the team. Now, he has this number of goals. And I told you the last time that 6 of them are non-penalty goals. Last season, Kai Havertz was Chelsea's highest goal scorer. But most of his goals were penalty goals. And it tells you the season before there was Jorginho, penalty goals. And it is not just the one striker. Raheem Sterling is in there. Cole Palmer is in there. Mihailo Modric is the least of the attackers. That has just 2 goals. That's played the most minutes and has just 2 goals. And it tells you they seem to be getting the confidence to get the job done. You go to assist corner, Gallagher is leading it. Cole Palmer comes through. Everywhere, everything seems to be thriving. Now, the big problem for Chelsea, the bigger problem is consistency, actually. It's consistency. The bigger problem is consistency because now Chelsea are somewhere things. Chelsea will need to be consistent. Playing Newcastle are going to play some difficult teams on the horizon. You need to be consistent. Newcastle have some injuries and whatnot, but they are still going to make the St. James Park very difficult for you to play in there. How do you deal with these things? You need to be very consistent in how you play your games. But this is a young team. Young teams usually don't have consistency. 28% of the starting 11 are either 21 or less. So it tells you that it is a very young team. They may not have the consistency. And I think that the consistency will come as much as they play more games together. And I've watched that Reece James interview where he speaks about the fact that he hasn't been able to influence the team so much because he was on the bench. Once he's back as captain, he puts a lot of verve, a lot of energy in the team. And I believe strongly that the consistency is going to come in the subsequent games. Now, the bigger problem, however, is how to break down the low blocks. The teams that sit in a 4-5-1, in a 5-4-1, how do you break them down? That is why in my videos in the past where I've said that when Romeo Lavia comes, maybe Connor will sit aside. And I'm speaking about the on-the-ball threat of Romeo Lavia and how he gives Chelsea the chance to play in a 4-3-3. It doesn't mean that Connor is not good. But the teams that we are going to play, the players that will field will be tailor-measured to the teams that we play. It's like that. I am thinking that if we are going to play even teams that will sit back and Kani Chukwuemeka is in, I would want Kani Chukwuemeka in there and Cole Palmer so that when Reece keep the width, you have 2 inside number 10s who can really manipulate the game and create chances from those areas. It is very, very imperative. Very, very, very imperative, especially when I'm playing against low blocks. And this is where, for me, I think that the issue is when these guys come together, when they play together for a while, when they understand themselves, we understand their movements, off the ball movements, on the ball movements, then they will get to break these balls down. But I think that's going to come. It's just on the horizon, and they're going to get a job done. So yeah, that's it with Chelsea. Yesterday, Nigeria, in that first Nigeria game that they play against Lesotho, I thought the game was hugely unbalanced, the Nigerian team. And I don't think Pizarro has any job to be Nigeria manager. It is time for him to go. And Nigeria really needs to find a proper manager because they have the talent, they have the players. They need someone that can make good use of these players. Just 2 games, Nigeria, just 2 points. At least I see Nigeria tired of qualifying for the World Cup. And it's a sad thing. They really need to put themselves together and get a job done. Now, somebody asked me to explain how the World Cup table runs. It is just the winner of the table of the various groups. You win, you qualify automatically. If you don't, second place teams are going to play amongst themselves here on the continent. The winner will play later playoff games elsewhere. You don't want that. Ghana are going to play against the Comoro Islands. First half, shambolic first half. And I've said it consistently. You don't play Baba Idrisu and then Salis Abdul Samad together. They are essentially two. Baba is more careful, more conservative than Salis. But Salis is also not the guy that selects the most dangerous pass. He doesn't go for high risk, high reward passes. He is more careful in the kind of passes that he chooses. He would rather go sideways. But you have a Majid Ashimeru, who is a proper number 8. Salis is more like a 6, but not necessarily a defensive 6. He is an on-the-ball 6 in progression. But Ashimeru is an 8. Receive the ball on the half 10. He does it every time in between the lines. And I have pictures of consistently when he came on, the mistakes that Salis was making, he wasn't making it. Salis was always in front of the 2 attackers that were leading the press for the Malagasi's. He wasn't doing that. He stays in between them so that he's able to split them and go behind their shadows, receive the ball from elsewhere. That is a mark of a proper number 8. And when he came, because of his ball carrying he's able to inject some verve and energy and then intensity into his game, carries the ball forward, creates great chances, and it gets the job done. Combine on wide areas with the players to form triangles to play forward. It is very, very, very important. And Ashimeru did that job brilliantly. If you are going into a game against Komoro, forget about the win that they had. Play with your strong team. Put them together. Get a job done. And I think Ghana can get a job done. Guys, this is where time will permit me. I need to run. Thank you very much for choosing Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you should. You are missing out. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, and do choose all. Adios. I'll see you.